Billionaire Jerry Jones is crashing out on the radio. Hilarious. Jerry Jones did his normal Tuesday morning, morning show interview on 105.3 The Fan on the SHAN and RJ show with Bobby Belt. And this morning, you could tell that the tension is rising in the building. You could tell that the talk is getting to him finally. Yesterday, Mike McCarthy was 2 hours late to his press conference. This morning, Jerry Jones is crashing out on the radio host. It's a lot to get into. This is my first Cowboys update video since January 14th when I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. And I wasn't going to do it anymore. But Jerry Jones crashing out was just too funny for me. I had to hop on. So we're going to listen to it and we're going to talk about it right here on the Cowboys update. Let's get right into it. Yep. Welcome back to the Dallas Cowboys update brought to you by dopecontent.com. Yeah. We are here. Jerry Jones crashing out, man. First of all, let's tell you why they crashing out. The Cowboys lost again. They get destroyed at home. 47-9 versus Detroit Lions. Cowboys are 3-3, Lions 4-1. So this is 3 straight games, really 4 straight if you want to count last year's playoff game. But it's 3 straight games this year where you played good teams to see where you were, and you got destroyed. Saints destroyed you. Ravens destroyed you. Don't let that final score fool you. The Ravens dominated that game. The Ravens destroyed you, and now Detroit just played in your face and disrespected you throughout the entire game. And I understand they got injuries and all that. I wasn't expecting them to win. If you watch the podcast, my sports podcast, I didn't predict them to win this game, nor last week, but they won last week. Cowboys fans got a little overhyped yet again after beating the Steelers. They come out and get just destroyed. 47-9, 3-3. They got a bye week this week, and then they play San Francisco. So y'all already know how it is when we play San Francisco. So we're not here to waste no time. Let's get into this crash out by Jerry Jones. And you know what? Shout out to Sean Sharif. Shout out to Bobby Belt, RJ Choppy, because they didn't really back up this time. I'm kind of used to them. Once Jerry get mad, they tone back. But this morning, everybody's just frustrated. If you're in the Cowboy Nation, you're frustrated. It is what it is. But let's get into this interview. We're not gonna waste no time.
There's been a lot of talk about execution. I think you've mentioned it here already.
I wasn't ready for it to play right then and there. Hold on, Bobby Belt. I was trying to explain the interview. Once again, Tuesday morning interview. Jerry does it every week on 105.3 The Fan. And these guys, like I said, in my opinion, they normally tend to back up off of Jerry when Jerry is getting angry and stuff. They try their best to ask the questions without pissing them off. This morning, it was a little different. So let's watch the interview now. Bobby Belt, you can start talking. Let's get right into it.
Talk about execution. I think you've mentioned it here already. If the execution has become a problem to the extent that you get losses like the ones against New Orleans and Detroit, why are those players still the right ones for your team?
Well, first of all, where are you going to go to get any players? Seriously, where are you going to go to get any players for the next week against San Francisco? Now.
Well, Jerry, let me stop and answer that. It's called the trades. It's called trades, first of all. If you really want to get players now, you could have got players now. Devontae Adams just got traded for a 3rd round. So, I'm not saying go get Devontae Adams. I didn't want Devontae Adams here. But I'm just saying, if you really want to get players, you can go get players for the next 2 weeks. So shut that up right now. Keep it going. Let's go.
Number one, I've seen these players. I've seen every one of them execute like you want the plays to be executed and do their job within the role. That didn't happen the other day, and we paid the consequences for us. But I've seen the players do it. I know we have outstanding personnel, very outstanding personnel. We've just made our quarterback the highest paid player in the NFL. We've just topped the receiver list charts.
Let's stop you right there. I knew this was going to happen, and this is why I wanted Dak Prescott to go somewhere else. I knew if things got bad, Jerry Jones was going to use that, well, we paying Dak Prescott more than anybody else in the whole entire league. I knew he was going to use that crap.
Shut up, bitch.
That's his excuse. When he got his contract, I knew that was going to be the excuse for this season. Oh, well, we paying Dak Prescott more than anybody, because he knows that half of the fan base don't like Dak, and half of them always counting his pockets, and they gonna rally behind him off of saying that one line. Jerry is smart. Jerry's smart, and he know what he's doing. That's why he said that. So just keep that in mind. And then, of course, CeeDee Lamb, the same thing. Fan base is starting to kind of turn on him a little bit, so he knew to use that. Oh, well, we paid Dak and CD all this money. This is why, they need to do this and they do that. It's two players. But let's keep it going.
So we made our bed relative to how we're going to approach with our key people with the team. We were shorthanded out there on defense, but everybody gets shorthanded. That's really not an excuse in the NFL. Your depth should step up there, and you should be able, if you can, to compensate to some degree. You can't compensate for the gap, so to speak, that we had between the way our offense played and the way we were supposed to play. Now, I want to give Detroit a lot of credit for that. They came after us and got after us, and they put guys on top of every offensive lineman you had, and they came at it and put the kind of pressure that gave Dak a lot of problems and gave our running game a lot of problems. We've got to be able to handle that.
Jerry, I think the counter back when you said where are you going to get the players, you can't get them this week is, and you're aware of all the off-season topics.
Yeah, but what is your counter? What is your damn counter?
My counter
I
is...
really want to know where you would go get it. Now, don't tell me about should gotten a guy in the off-season.
Why not?
This isn't a damn word argument just because I'm not arguing with you. I'm dealing with how we line up against San Francisco, not what I did wrong last week or last month or 2 months ago or 2 years ago. If I really gave you guys a list of all the things I've done wrong over the last few years, you couldn't be on this program for the next 5 years steady and go over it. But every now and then you do some right things, and at the end of the day you add it up, and the rights give you a better spot than the wrongs.
Okay, let's stop that. Don't talk about the bad things I'm doing. We haven't won a Super Bowl in over 30 years. We ain't even made the NFC Championship game in over 30 years. But I'm doing a lot of things right, guys. I'm doing a lot of things right. We win double-digit games in the regular season. I'm making the most money out of everybody. We still America's team. I'm doing things right. Cowboys fans don't want to hear that, bro. Cowboys fans are tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Y'all, and we need to talk about this standard thing. I talked about this last year, or actually 2 years ago, about what is the real standard here. Because people that's growing up in this generation, they never seen the Cowboys win anything. So what is the real standard here? I think times have changed. This ain't the 90s. This ain't the 80s, the 70s, and et cetera. All that Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and all that stuff. My kids don't know them like that.
Bruh.
High schoolers don't know them like that.
Bruh.
Hell, it's people in college right now that don't know them like that.
Bruh.
So all they know is the Cowboys, they might be a good regular season team, and then they lose in the playoffs. First round, most likely. So what is the standard that everybody keeps talking about? Who's the Cowboys standard? The Cowboys standard for the last 30 years is they a regular season team and they're average.
Bruh.
But anyway, talk about all the good things I'm doing, Jerry, right? Let's get back into it.
But if you think for any minute right now, there'll be one Super Bowl champion. What do the others do wrong? There's one Super Bowl champion. Now, we want to be that champion. And I'm sure not throwing the towel in today because of what happened out there Sunday.
You should.
But I'm not going to sit here and waste a lot of energy, a lot of time. Let's talk about what I should have done back in 1907 or 2017. Shit, Ben. Come on. I've got more time than that, and I actually don't even have time on this great show for looking back at decisions.
Okay. So, Jerry, 1970, a little different from this past off season in building the team we're talking about today, which there was a lot of criticism that you guys didn't add, didn't spend, and don't add and don't spend, and are not aggressive enough with some of the problems that are still haunting the Cowboys today that we see play out on the field. That's the point of talking about the offseason.
Oh, I remember those criticisms very well. Okay, so what?
Are they playing out to be accurate?
What's your point? What's your point?
My point is, it seems like
Listen, let me tell you what I'll do. Let me tell you what I'll do about it.
Don't ask him what his point is and then cut him off, Jerry. Let him tell you what his point is. Because you knew he was about to cook you right there, Jerry. That's why you cut him off. But anyway, keep going, Jerry.
I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me, to talk about, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well,
Jerry, it is their job to critique the owner of one of the sports teams that they are paid to cover. If the owner is not doing a good job, if the GM is not doing a good job, it's their job to talk about it. And if they have you on the interview, it's their job to ask those questions. So it is their job to talk to you and ask you these questions that they're asking you right now. It's literally in their job description, my guy. So what are you talking about? This is the #1 sports station for DFW sports. So what are they talking about? DFW sports. Who is the biggest sports team in DFW? And not only DFW, but really the world. When you let Forbes tell it, the freaking Dallas Cowboys. Who is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys? It's you, Jerry Jones. Who is the GM of the Dallas Cowboys? It's you, Jerry Jones. And right now you suck. And the fans want answers. Who's going to be the ones to get those answers from you? It's the people that covers your team. And the people on the radio that you're disrespecting right now. So it is their jobs to ask you exactly what they're asking you, because this is what the fans want. And this is why the fans listen to their station, to get these answers. If it's not their job to ask you these questions, what's the point of even having you on the radio? What's the point of interviewing you then, Jerry? Stop doing the damn interviews if you don't want nobody asking you hard questions. It's their job. They're doing their job. You just in your feelings and butthurt because you know they right, and you know everybody else that's been talking trash about you all off season is right, and you're wrong, and you know it. That's why you all bent up and got your panties in the bunch. But let's continue.
My job is to ask
get
why.
a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Now he's threatening their jobs. Let's keep it going.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
It's common sense.
Jerry,
Okay? Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Well,
now, listen, we both know.
first of all, Jerry, they've praised you plenty of times. When you made your decision to get Brandon Cooks and Gilmore last year, they was on your nuts. And they praised you every week because y'all was winning 12 games last year and y'all looked like a legit contender. I tell Cowboys fans all the time, all in was last year. It ain't this year. So Jerry, don't let Jerry fool y'all. It's too late because he already did. And I tried to tell y'all, all in was last year. That's done. They need to rebuild. But they was on your nuts all last year, Jerry. They was on your nuts after week 1 and after you beat the Steelers. So don't say they don't tell you nothing good. They was riding your jock. They was praising you. So come on, man. You don't like the heat in the kitchen. that you put yourself in. Keep going.
We're talking to a lot of great fans and a lot of great listeners. And I am very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. Now, I'm not talking to these yahoos on the end of this phone. I'm talking to you, the fans that are listening this morning. And we can spend a lot of time going over zigging and zagging. One of the stupidest things I've ever done that anybody has ever analyzed is by the Cowboys. It was an idiot that did that.
And there you go. That's Jerry Jones crashing out. Telling them it's not their jobs. It's not their jobs to, ask him questions, tough questions. And, they don't never say nothing positive about him. You let Jerry tell it. They just bitch and moan about him when they losing, right? Like, come on, man. Anybody that ever listened to that station or just listen to any content creator that's a Cowboys content creator knows that's a lie. Because Jerry got praised a lot, even when he didn't deserve it. I didn't understand none of the praise that he got this summer. Didn't understand it at all. Everybody was so excited when he signed Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. It pissed me off. I wanted Dak to leave. Because if it took that long, Dak didn't get it signed until 2 hours before the first game of the year. CeeDee Lamb didn't get signed until, a week or two? I think it was 2 weeks before the first game of the season. Why did they have to go the whole summer dealing with that? And they like to use this excuse. We signed Dak, we signed CD, we signed Diggs, and we got to sign Micah. That's not an excuse. Because if you would have signed Dak and if you would have signed CD, which you knew you was going to do anyway, if you would have done that early on, you would have had the cap space to go out and get more free agents for your team. Just like the Eagles do all the time, just like the Rams was doing when they was going to the Super Bowls and all that, just like the 49ers be doing. You name any team that's been to the Super Bowl, maybe outside of the Chiefs, because the Chiefs just have, they got the greatest quarterback. I'm sorry, which you got Pat Mahomes. The Chiefs can get away with letting Tyreek Hill go. All they go do is replace him. You got Pat Mahomes, you can do that. Nobody else in the league has Pat Mahomes. So what does everybody else do to contend? They load their roster up. And like I said, last year, you did a nice job bringing in Gilmore, bringing in Brandon Cooks. But the deal is, Trayvon Diggs got hurt. So that Gilmore thing, yeah, it was cool, but you didn't get what you planned to get because Diggs was hurt. If you would have had Diggs, Bland, and Gilmore, we might be talking about a different situation last year, right? Brandon Cooks, it took him a little while to get him and Dak together, and then the offensive play calling is trash. This is just what it is, right? And that's a coaching issue. But Jerry Jones, you crashing out on radio hosts, people with mics in front of their faces and all that, that's talking on camera or whatever. You crashing out on the wrong people, my guy. You need to be crashing out on yourself. You need to look in the mirror, take a hammer, and crash that hoe. That's what you need to do. Just smash the mirror. That's what you need to do, because it's your fault. Mike McCarthy, I'm about to get into a whole nother rant. Let me stop. Listen, let's get back. Let's stay on Jerry. There are fans that I'm seeing today after this crash out still defending Jerry Jones. And what they're saying is, well, Jerry Jones, it's the players, it's the coaches. It ain't Jerry. Jerry can't play. That's true. Jerry can't play. But Jerry can hire every single person that you're complaining about. You mad at the players? Jerry signed those players. You mad at the coaches? Jerry signed those coaches. Mike McCarthy he shouldn't have a job right now. You know why he got a job? Because Dan Quinn saved him. Dan Quinn and Dak Prescott saved Mike McCarthy's job. Don't forget in 2020 when Mike McCarthy got here, first of all, he lied on his resume and lied in his interview about watching tape and studying analytics and all that. He even said that in front of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones' face during his opening press conference, and all they did was laugh about it. The man told you to your face in front of everybody on microphone, yeah, I lied. I lied to get this job. Who did he bring in? who did he bring in to be defensive coordinator? Y'all remember that? Mike Nolan. Y'all remember Mike Nolan, Cowboys fans? You remember how awful he was in 2020? That was a Mike McCarthy hire. That was one of his boys. He was so bad, you had no choice but to fire him. That's when Dan Quinn came along and instantly turned that defense around. Dak Prescott got injured in 2020. He came back and the offense looked like the offense again, even with Kellen Moore calling the plays. And then last year, Dak saved you when y'all had to have that meeting that you had, and Dak was like, nah, we need to do this a different way. CD needs to get the ball. He needs to be in motion, yada, yada. That saved your job, Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Dak Prescott. Outside of those two, Mike McCarthy would not have a job right now, and I stand on that. Don't forget, shout out to Jay Tuck, by the way, because Jay Tuck pointed this out. He exposed this. The guy that's the running back coach right now, I can't remember his name. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But he's never been a running back coach before in his life. Never in his life. He got the job because he's Mike McCarthy's homeboy. Bruh. And the fact that Mike McCarthy is stupid enough to do things like that for your homies when you're on a 1-year contract right now lets me know all I need to know about Mike McCarthy. So Mike Zimmer, y'all remember Mike Zimmer? Everybody was hyping up Mike Zimmer. Oh, he's the fiery guy. This is the guy that's supposed to be, he get in their face if they mess up on defense. I ain't seen him do it yet. Have you seen it? I forget that he's one of the coaches. I barely see him on the sideline. And then when they do show him on camera, he ain't doing nothing but just sitting there looking stupid. Where's the fire that y'all was talking about? I ain't seen it yet. What week we in? 6? About to go at week 7? I haven't seen it yet. Not one single time. Where's the angry Mike Zimmer? The one that's gonna get in your throats and in your face. Pause on that throat one. Get in your face. I ain't seen it yet. So what we bring him back for? Because he got a name? And again, for all you idiots that want Bill Belichick, no. It's the same situation. You bringing people in because they got a name. They old and stuck in their ways, man. Like, it's time to get younger. All the way across the board. This is why I've been on Team Tank since week 2. And it's funny because now, Cowboys fans on my Instagram, they text me, inbox me on Facebook, calling me stupid. Why you on Team Tank? You don't believe in this team? This team is good, such and such, right? Now, when you hear Jeff Kavanaugh or you hear other people on the radio or bigger names say the same thing that I've been telling y'all since week 2, now it's all, oh yeah, we should go ahead and tank your draft picks. Man, you know what?
Shut up, bitch.
Cause I got the tweets. I got the video clips of me saying it. I knew then after week 2, nah, this ain't it. This ain't the team. This ain't it. It's time to make a change. This team ain't cutting it. And they not gonna cut it this year, and they not gonna cut it next year if you keep the same players. All these veterans, the DeMarcus Lawrence, the Zach Martins, the Terrence Steels, the Donovan Wilsons, the DeRon Blands. If you're not gonna re-sign DeRon Bland, you need to trade him. The Kendricks, you need to trade them. Malik Hooker, trade them. I'm perfectly fine with Wanye Thomas and Marquise Bell finishing up in the safety unit, finishing the year in the safety unit as the starting safeties. Trade these people. Brandon Cooks, trade them. I mean, you probably can't trade Tank and Cooks now because they both injured, and DeRon Bland is injured too. But trade. I don't know if they still got the little injury thing where you can't trade while they injured. But all these guys would have been traded, man. Trade them and get draft picks. Go ahead and lose this year. Stack up draft picks, free up some money, and go ahead and lose. So next year you have a ton of money in the offseason, and you will have hella draft picks. You can turn this team around in one season if you're willing to just go ahead and bite the bullet and just lose. Just lose. You're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. You might not even make the playoffs. So what's the point of sitting in the middle of the pack? It doesn't benefit nobody. And yes, the NFC East suck. And we can beat every team in the NFC East. It doesn't matter because the overall picture is the Super Bowl or at least the NFC Championship game. This roster is not going to get you there.
Bruh.
Tank has had his moments here. His time is up. You could get rid of Tyron Smith and Zeke. You could get rid of Tank. You could get rid of Zach Martin. I told y'all, man, the veteran players that's been here or the veteran players just period that can still bring value to other teams, trade them and get some draft picks and just get some cash consideration. Free up, let the practice. I mean, you got young play. Let the young people play the rest of this season, man. Like you half-ass did it on D tackles like you always do. Oh, we got Linval Joseph. We got Jordan Phillips, and yeah, we beefing up the sides. We're gonna be way better stopping the run. That's hilarious. These guys were at home for a reason. They were at home for a reason. And y'all just getting too excited. Oh, see, we doing this. We beefing up. Yeah. They were at home for a reason. Now you see why they were at home. So Jerry Jones, stop crashing out on the radio, folks, man. It's your fault, bruh. And if you're smart, you will go ahead and trade these veterans away, man. Because obviously they're not going to get it done. Tank has been here for years. You ain't got it done with Tank. So let Tank go. Zach Martin has been here for years. I love Zach Martin. But if you could get rid of Tyron Smith, you can get rid of Zach Martin. And I'd rather you trade him versus just letting him go and getting the compensation pick. I don't care about the compensation picks. Trade him and see if you can get something better. Now, if you can't get nothing better, then I believe it's a 3rd round compensation pick for him or whatever. If you can't get nothing better than that, then cool. That's fine. But I would still trade him. I would still try to trade him for something better. Just saying. There's other legit teams that can do something in the playoffs. That can use a Tank Lawrence, a Malik Hooker, a Donovan Wilson, a Zach Martin. Hell, you're not using Zeke. Trade Zeke. Why did you bring him back? Like, it's just so much. Brandon Cooks. It's a team out there that can use a Brandon Cooks that would use him correctly. Just saying, Mike McCarthy offense is trash. He got to go after this year. He got to go. Only reason he still got a job is Dak Prescott and Dan Quinn. That's it. That's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. But shout out to everybody that's watching. If you got something to say, leave your comments down below. Leave your comments down below. I do reply, even though I be at work sometimes. I still reply. So if there's anything I said wrong or anything I missed about Jerry Jones, let me know. I don't mind you telling me I'm wrong, because I'm always come back at you. And then if I'm wrong, I'm gonna just tell you I'm wrong. Hey, it is what it is. So appreciate you watching, man. Y'all have a great day. Until next time, I'm out.